right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, we've got another physique update from Chris Bumstead, your reigning, defending classic physique Olympia champion. We've been getting a lot of physique updates from Chris Bumstead, which I think a lot of the fans really appreciate. He has a caption on this post, champion mentality. It doesn't mean you're always motivated. It doesn't mean you're always driven or even passionate about whatever you're doing 100% of the time. It simply means you have no quit. It means you are willing to do absolutely anything to achieve that end result. And this time, Chris not only posing in the goon light, but he hit that classic black and white filter on this very classic pose. And we're just 2.5 weeks out from the Olympia right now. This is a really fun time for bodybuilding. The Arnold, I think they should do this every year, to be honest. I like the Arnold in March. I've been going to the Arnold in March every year since 2008. But having the Arnold and the Olympia just 2 weeks away from each other, I think makes this really exciting, like 1 to 2 month span in bodybuilding where it's just on. All the top bodybuilders are getting ready for a show. They're all getting ready to compete. You've got a lot of the Olympia guys in the Arnold, and then they're going to the Olympia a couple weeks later for like the rematch. I think it's a really cool dynamic that they've got with the Arnold and the Olympia being so close, especially when you've got the runner-up and a bunch of other top Olympians in the classic physique lineup in the Arnold Classic coming to challenge Chris right after the Arnold. But we're going to know the Arnold results before we get to see them battle with Chris on stage. So we're going to see if Terrence is still the front runner, if he wins the Arnold Classic, or if someone new is the front runner after the Arnold Classic. And that's going to add even more excitement to the Olympia. And I just want to say, and I think a lot of you guys would probably agree with this, they need to raise the prize money for classic physique up to a level where it really should be. Now, I know they're increasing it, and they've pretty much been increasing the overall prize money every year, so they're making these steps in the right direction. But we got to be honest with ourselves. Last year, Chris Bumstead was paid $30,000 in prize money, winning the Classic Physique Olympia title. Big Ramy got $400,000, winning men's open bodybuilding, more than 10 times what Chris Bumstead got paid. And Sean Clarita in 212 got $50,000. for winning 212, almost double what Chris Bumstead got paid. And being in this unique position that I am on social media, I've seen the hype that Classic Physique has. Classic Physique is every bit as big of a draw right now as men's open bodybuilding. I've seen more people talking about Chris Bumstead defending his title this year than I've seen talking about Big Ramy, and that's the honest truth. This is no disrespect to 212, but Classic Physique, I think, it's hard to argue, is certainly bigger and more popular and more of a ticket seller than 212 at this point. But 212 is getting paid double what Classic is at the Olympia. And that's not to say that Chris is by any stretch of the imagination struggling or hurting for money. He's probably making more money than anybody through sponsorships and endorsements and other business ventures. But I just think, I was just talking to someone about this the other day, and I wanted to bring it up in the video. I really think Classic Physique prize money needs to be increased to match the popularity and the draw of that division. Thumbs up this video if you agree, and comment in the comment section below if you agree. This argument has been made before for some of the women's divisions getting paid more, but I think the argument is much stronger in Classic Physique than any other category because the draw there is so big. Now, next up in the news, we've got another physique update from Brandon Curry. He's been posting pretty much a physique update every day, every other day, as we're getting closer and closer to the big show. This one is a little bit harder to tell how Brandon is looking. He's not really posing here. You kind of only get to see a good view of Brandon after he hits the pose. But he says this is from last Thursday, the 16th, and he checked the date on it. I appreciate that Brandon is posting so much, to be honest. Like I said, we haven't really seen as much from Big Ramy. We've seen some little Easter eggs from him here and there, but not a whole lot. And I think a lot of fans want to see more from Ramy, myself included. But Brandon, I think the main takeaway from the updates that I've seen from Brandon, he looks bigger and fuller to me than he looks last year, which I think is a good thing. He's going to need that to play the game with Big Ramy, and that's what he said was the main improvement he was looking to make, was to be able to stand next to Ramy, be bigger, not look small, just be able to hang with him. And I think he's going to achieve that because, to me, he looks bigger, rounder, and fuller in all the updates that we've seen of him so far while still maintaining relatively good conditioning. All right, guys, so I'm super excited to announce that today's video is sponsored by my good friends over at Old School Bodybuilding Clothing Company. As you can see, it's a shirt that I'm wearing right now, and they just released their Olympia t-shirts and their Olympia VIP package on their website. There's going to be a link in the description box below where you guys can go get your Olympia bundle of your own. So let's get into this package here. So these are my favorite right here, are the hats. I'm wearing one right now, actually, an Old School Bodybuilding hat. Now let's go ahead. I'll show you guys the shirts here. These should be their Olympia shirts. Shirt number 1. This is the long sleeve shirt. I'll show you guys the back here. And I believe this other one is the short sleeve shirt. Show you guys the front. Show you guys the back. All right, guys, so I just threw on the Olympia Bundle long sleeve t-shirt. So in the VIP bundle, you get the hat and you get 2 shirts that are the same size. So if you're an extra large, they're like a pre-organized bundle. So you would get this, the short sleeve shirt, and the hat, and then the 2 shirts would be the same size. That's what you get as the package deal for the Olympia VIP package if you go on the website and buy it. Now, next up in the news, what I think is a recent physique update of Hadi Choopan. So Hadi just posted this to his Facebook fan page yesterday. And one of the reasons why I think this is recent is because it looks like it was shot in the United States. You see the palm trees and the architecture in the background. Hadi's in the United States now, and it looks like this video was shot in the United States, in addition to the fact that it was posted recently. And this isn't a posing video that I've ever seen of Hadi Choopan before. So we can assume probably it was taken some point after he arrived in the United States. And he looks pretty good here. Now, again, how he looks here is really all going to be relative to when this video was actually shot, which would tell us how far away he is from stepping on stage at the Olympia in this video. But honestly, Hadi is like one of my wild card picks. And I haven't done my Olympia prediction video yet, but I will soon. Hadi's one of my wild card picks to win the thing. I think he's going to be top 3 here in 2021, and I really think he has the ability to win this contest, whether it's this year, whether it's in the future. Hadi is Mr. Olympia champion material, and I really want to see him put together, and maybe this year, because he's been in the States longer, he doesn't have as much last-minute stress, worrying about whether or not he's going to get the visa, worrying about whether or not he's going to be able to travel to the States at all. Maybe that will alleviate some of the issues that he had last year, and he'll be sharper, tighter, and better this year, which could be a really dominant and tough package to beat. It's crazy because I still feel like people are sleeping on Hadi, and I think he's one of the guys that could pull off the upset and win this whole thing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about how Hadi is looking and when you think this video was actually shot. Now, next up in the news, James Hollingshead. This is a guy that's stirring up a lot of conversation as he prepares for this year's Mr. Olympia. His coach, Patrick Tour, posting some improvement photos, some before and afters, of James from his prep for last year's Spain show, the Europa Spain, 18 days before Spain and 18 days before this year's Olympia. It's crazy to think that we're less than 18 days away from the Olympia, and the Arnold Classic still hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting for the Arnold. That's why I said earlier in the video, man, it's so exciting this time of year. The way that they scheduled these shows, I think, is awesome. I think it's really cool, and they kind of feed off of each other. But Patrick is showing these improvements, and I think the main thing he was trying to point out was the posing. The way that James is hitting the poses is better. Like, in particular, the front lat spread, that first picture there, it looks like he's hitting it in a more effective way. But also, when you look at the front double bicep, his arms look significantly bigger. He as a whole, looks significantly bigger in these photos with comparable conditioning. And that's interesting to me because I thought James looked phenomenal at that Europa Spain show last year. And if he is significantly improved from that package and he brings the same type of conditioning that he brought to that show, but he's bigger, harder, drier, fuller, rounder, the whole 9 yards, which is what it looks to be here, I think he's going to be a serious threat at this year's Olympia. And again, he is drawing up a lot of conversation now, but I still think he's a guy that people might be counting out. And I think he's a guy that's going to surprise a lot of people at this year's Olympia because these improvements, if these are accurate, if this is an accurate assessment, 18 days out from both shows, it's pretty noticeable, the improvements that he's made. So shout out to James. I know Luke would be very, very proud of him. Now, another Olympia update from another guy that qualified early, just like James, Regan Grimes, looking to improve upon his 15th place placing last year. I know I keep harping on that 15th place, and I bring it up every time I talk about Regan for this year's Olympia prep because I want people to remember that's where he placed last year. So if this year he comes in mind-blowingly better and he places really high at the Olympia, I think it's going to make it that much sweeter of a story, the fact that he placed 15th last year. And if he just blows that physique away this year, it's going to be that much more cool to witness that. So these recent physique updates, he's posted a lot, but these recent ones we get to see a little bit drier, leaner version of Regan. At the other physique updates, we're kind of looking for just a bigger version of Regan because I think that's the main thing that held him back last year. Was he just got outsized. His conditioning was decent, but here now we're starting to see some of that condition shine through at 2.5 weeks out from the Olympia. And the size that I do believe he's added. I think he has made improvements. He has grown. He has gotten bigger. And I'm really excited to see him take the stage this year. And I'm really excited to see him hopefully do a lot better than last year. He's definitely being counted out a little bit this year. I haven't really seen as many people talking about him. It just seems like a little bit quieter about Regan Grimes this year. But hopefully that means he's going to come in and prove a lot of people wrong that are doubting him this year. And again, being a younger guy with a ton of potential, I really want to see him start making those changes and improving those placings as he gets older into his IFBB career. Now, next up in the news, Iain Valliere posting on his story a physique update today. I believe he's in Ohio now. I believe a lot of the guys that are competing in the Arnold are here in Ohio already. Iain, for whatever reason, these past couple preps seems to have become like the king of the glute pic updates on Instagram. I don't know if people like that or not, but that seems to be the crown that he's come for, showing off his back and some striated glutes at just days away from taking the stage at the Arnold Classic. Iain, on paper, one of the favorites to win the show. He's the only guy in the Arnold Classic lineup going in off of 2 back-to-back wins in Texas and Tampa. I believe I predicted him in 5th. I'm still going to stand by that prediction. He could be higher depending on, really just how his conditioning looks here. I think that's the main thing that I want to see from Iain is improving upon conditioning. He's got the size, he's got the physique, he's got the structure. I just want to see a sharper version of Iain. I want to see a sharper version than what we saw at last year's Olympia. And if we see that, I mean, he could be a contender to win the whole show, but I guess it's just a matter of if we see that or not. Now, in my opinion, last year's Olympia version of Iain, where he took 7th place, was the best version to date that we've seen of Iain's physique. I personally don't think that at Tampa or Texas, Iain beat that Olympia physique. But if he beats that Olympia physique at the Arnold, he'll probably be a lot higher than 5th. But that's the biggest question in my mind is will he beat that version of himself from the 2020 Mr. Olympia? That's kind of the standard that I have in my mind for Iain. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Comment in the comment section below your Arnold predictions. We're just a couple days away. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps out a lot. It's free, it's easy, and it's tremendously helpful to the channel when you like the video. So just like it. If you want to support today's sponsors at Old School Bodybuilding Clothing Company, pick yourself up an Olympia t-shirt. There's going to be a link in the description box below. An Olympia bundle, the VIP bundle, whatever you want to get. It's a company that I really do like. I've been wearing their stuff for a long time. They've been taking care of me for a long time and sending me product way before we ever discussed a partnership on YouTube. So very cool. Very happy to get to work with them. And I genuinely want to help them grow as a company. I don't want to just take this on as just a sponsorship. I want them to actually do well, because I think what they're doing is actually pretty cool. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Nick Strength and Power signing out.